Amanda here from Create Your Future. Guys, we have an exciting video today on how to manifest a specific person. We're going to talk about that today. So just before I dive into it, guys, just to let you know, for those that are new here, my name is Amanda. I'm a neurolinguistic programming practitioner, hypnotherapist, EFT practitioner, as well as a certified life coach. And a lot of the coaches on the team have similar, and if not the same, qualifications. And some of them even have backgrounds in psychology and that sort of thing. So exciting news, guys. We have a YouTube or a Facebook group. It is Create Your Future with Amanda, Law of Attraction Hacks, and it's for success stories. So I encourage you guys to go there, post your success stories. Definitely check that out. And I'm not sure if this is for you guys, but we have a free course, How to Find Your Blocks to Manifest Anything Fast. It's going to help you build your mental diet. Okay. So, when it comes to manifesting, a mental diet is so incredibly important. Your thoughts are prayers. Every thought you have is a prayer, right? So knowing which thoughts you're going to keep and which ones you're not going to entertain is very important. And that you find out, what you want to keep and not keep by your goal, So like, for instance, if you want to be in a relationship with Jerry, then you think he doesn't want to be in a relationship because he's got baggage, then that's a block for you. But you can easily change that by saying, no, Jerry's over his baggage, wants to be in a relationship with me. And now you've just unblocked yourself. And also questioning is such a common one. Questioning, what does Jerry think about me? Why doesn't he want to be with me? Why hasn't it happened yet? Getting impatient. Those are all blocks. So that free course is going to help you to build your mental diet and help you to avoid those pitfalls. People watch it repeatedly. They absolutely love it. Okay. And I've also got a course, How to Create the Relationship You Love. It's going to help you create a mantra. These techniques work. I put it all in the course for you. So it's going to help you to manifest anything quickly, because a mantra is going to be your go-to pull out of your pocket when you think about your situation. Okay. And then there's also affirmation tracks of how to get your manifest your ex back, how to get rid of the third party, and affirmations to manifest money. They're all on sale right now. So check the link in the description. Okay. As well as, guys, you know what? I do live videos. And if you would like me to answer your question, definitely subscribe, turn on the bell icon so you're notified when I go live. And also, if you do have any video ideas or questions, comment them under the video. I'm more than happy to answer them or make a video out of it. So what we're going to talk about today is how to manifest your specific person, how to manifest a specific person. So one thing that I think is incredibly important, we do hear out there, there's no one to change but self, right? And so what does that mean? Well, that means you need to change your self-concept. If you have, a belief that you're never chosen, you're going to need to change that. So, your concept of self, of what you think of yourself as far as in relation to relationships go. But then you also need to change the story about the other person. I can't tell you how many times I hear people say, I'm working on my self-concept. Everybody else is coming in except for my SP. Okay. And that's because, yes, working on your self-concept is great, but we're missing a piece. We're missing changing the assumption of the other person, okay? Your story, when you think about your other person, has to be, yes, they 100% want to be with me. This is the reason why they like me, okay? So when it comes to manifesting someone, right, you need to work on your concept to yourself, okay? So I am chosen. Everybody wants to be, my SP wants to be in a relationship with me. I'm a great girlfriend. I'm an excellent wife. And, I can hear my SP tell me that. And then, what you want your SP to think about you. Also your story about them. Do they have, relationship issues? Do they have baggage? You want to work on that. And then, you also want to take a look. Do you have any story about how, relationships never work out, that sort of thing. So you want to take a look at any beliefs that you have there. So a really good success story for me is I've always had a great self-concept in relationships, and I've never had a problem in relationships until I started dating men that were previously married. And I remember creating a story that men that were previously married had baggage and didn't want to get married again. So of course I had to deal with that. So that assumption was about the other person, not about me. Okay, not about my self-concept. Okay, so, you want to take a look. So for instance, right, if you are getting basically all these other guys, saying and doing what you want your SP to do, and your SP is not doing it, then your self-concept is on point. You need to change your story about your specific person. Okay. 100%. And how do you change a belief about your specific person? Okay. Well, first of all, you need to revise any sort of fight that you may have had. If it's an ex, you need to revise basically your story about why you guys aren't together. Okay. Now, I think that's incredibly important, because really what it comes down to is, you're the director of your story, and everybody is on the stage. Okay. And they're all playing the role that you're assigning to them, because everyone is you pushed out. Okay. So how do you change a belief? Okay. What you do need to do is you need to believe that anything is possible. You don't need to believe, your intention or your affirmation or your new story, but you do need to believe that your thoughts create and anything is possible and people can change. Okay. So you're going to start saying, look at, what I intend that my SP is over his baggage and ready for a relationship. And you keep repeating your new story until it shows up in your reality. Okay. And then, you're not looking to, oh, has he changed yet? Have they changed yet? You have to have faith and belief that you can change your situation. So one way that you can build your belief in your powers of creating is to create a little list of manifestations and review it every day. And as little things, basically manifest off that list, and then add to it. And as you go through that, you're going to build your belief, and you're going to start to see the correlation between all of your thoughts and everything that shows up in your reality. Everything in your 3D reality was created by you. It was meant for you. It was there because you thought it. Okay. Now, it may not have been a thought that you had today or yesterday. It could have been a thought that you had 20 years ago. Okay. But your whole reality is made up of a reflection of your consciousness. We are all one. There is no separation. Okay. So you need to dig through. If you've got history with the person, you're going to need to revise, and you're going to have a really short memory for anything bad that they've done to you for you to forgive them. And of course, you can still manifest an apology, right? So that would be more like manifesting an ex back. You guys had a fight, broke up. Sure. Manifest an apology, intend that they take responsibility, and that they're forgiving and understanding, and, and start writing your story. How do you guys get back together? If you're manifesting a new SP, well, you start writing your story. Why? Like, you sit down and say, this is what my specific person thinks about me. You can even use their name, and start writing out a list, right? And you know what? When you write this list and you read it 2-3 times a day, you know what? They're going to show up and they're going to say these things, and it's going to be surreal. Okay. Because this is how it works. In fact, one thing that I want all of you guys to do right now, and this is really going to help you, is I want you to say, I intend to see how I've created everything in my life. Okay. I intend to see how I've created everything in my life. Okay. I intend to see how everyone is me pushed out. I intend to see how everybody is me pushed out. Okay. So one thing I want to clarify about everyone is you pushed out is there's a misunderstanding. Okay. So sometimes people say, well, you know what? They're reflecting you, they're mirroring you. And some people misunderstand and think, oh, they're mirroring me. So let's say, for instance, the SP, your specific person, is just not trustworthy. Okay. Like, they've gone out and they've done things that have broken your trust. Okay. So does that mean that you're not trustworthy? No, not at all. That is not how this works. They are not mirroring a piece of you that you need to work on about yourself. That's not what's happening here. They are mirroring back your assumptions about them, or maybe assumptions about men in general, or maybe assumptions about that you have about, people you're in a relationship with, or they're reflecting back, something about a flawed self-concept, meaning, every guy that I'm with is too good to be true, or I'm always with the bad boy, or I'm always with the cheater, or whatever. Okay. So they're not, just because they're untrustworthy doesn't mean that you have something in you that's not trustworthy. They're just reflecting back your assumptions. So the whole world is a mirror of your beliefs, your assumptions, and your thoughts. Okay. Your thoughts create your beliefs. Your thoughts create your assumptions. Your thoughts create your emotions. Okay. It all starts with your thoughts. So you've got to be on top of your thoughts. If you're manifesting a specific person right now, write down all the reasons why you guys aren't together. Okay. Write them all down. And then one by one, start crossing out all of those and write them into positive intentions. Throw out that old list. You don't need it anymore. Take your new list, read it 3 times a day, okay? And then spend some time going through all the possible ways that you can run into each other, or that this is going to happen, or the first date. Like, really spend some time, putting it out there, because your subconscious mind is constantly overhearing all of your thoughts. You want to have more positive thoughts about your situation than negative. So if, people say, oh, mental diet, it's so hard. Yeah, well, I mean, didn't you just spend all weekend like basically spiraling out of control? For every minute you spiral out negative, you got to do at least 2 minutes positive, okay? So you're going to have to catch yourself. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I mean, that's just the way it is. Your thoughts create your reality, and you've got to be on top of your thoughts and change them into what you want. Now, sometimes we can create one thought and it'll show up. That's because there's zero resistance to that thought. So when you have something with resistance, and a lot of time relationships, we put them on a pedestal, so we have resistance to them. We really need to put work towards it, and we cannot be scared and run from that resistance, okay? Because as soon as you make a declaration and say, yeah, you know what, I want to manifest my SP, guess what? Your subconscious mind is going to say, well, guess what? You've got this story, this story, this story, this story. And then your SP is going to be like, well, I don't want this. And everything that is opposite is going to show up. Okay. And this is good. This is showing up because you need to address it and change it. All you need to do is acknowledge it and say, okay, he says he doesn't want a relationship. No, I intend he's ready for a relationship. Okay, write down that new affirmation. Repeat it until you start believing it, right? And do that with everything that shows up. When the opposite shows up, this is exciting. This means things are moving for you. Okay, your subconscious mind is trying to help you get all of that out of the way. Okay, your subconscious mind, when you go to run that new program, your subconscious mind is like, wait a minute, you said he's got baggage and doesn't want a relationship. Would you mind dealing with that? Oh, you also said that the families don't like, you different religions. Okay, would you mind dealing with that? It'll tell you everything that's not in line with that new goal, right? And that new desire. And as you get through each one of those oppositions and each one of those issues that show up, you're rearranging your 3D reality to suit what you want. So, be thankful. The quicker you identify those, acknowledge them, and change them, the quicker you are going to get what you want. I am not a fan of, not being in the 3D. Okay. So if you're in a friends with benefits, situation, and you want to manifest your SP to be in a relationship, I mean, basically, you can say, oh, that's it. I don't want to be this. I'm going to go no contact. But what no contact is living from the end of rejection. If you were thinking this person wanted to be with you and your friends and benefits was leading to a relationship, would you go no contact? No. Okay, you wouldn't. Why would you? Because you're not thinking you're being used. So everything is empty and meaningless, and you've got to change the meaning that you're giving things. Okay, so going no contact, okay, to not be triggered. I mean, for me, it's like, well, I want to be a baseball player, but okay, I don't want to miss a ball or mess up on the field. So I'm just going to sit in the bleachers and I'm just going to play the game in my head. No, get out on the field. Get out on the field. See what the feedback is. What is your SP saying to you? Where can you change your perception in your situation? Where can you change the story? Your SP will tell you exactly why you guys aren't together. They're going to basically say, you programmed me with, baggage, okay? And I'm not ready for a commitment, right? And then that's what, they're going to reflect back what you're assuming and what you're pushing out, okay? So being on the field is so incredibly important. Now, I know we all love to check the 3D, okay? So if you can't stop checking the 3D, and that's me, I am a 3D checker, but what I do when I check the 3D is I use that as an opportunity to say, oh, my manifestation isn't here yet. I say, okay, it's coming, and I reaffirm it and I move on. Okay. I mean, it is what it is, I mean, this is the same thing when you're manifesting, say health, your foot hurts, right? And you're manifesting, that, you can't go no contact with your foot. It's a part of your body. right? So, every day I wake up, I intend my foot feels good. It's healed and it feels good every single day. And every time you notice the pain, no, my foot's healed. My foot feels great, and then you can even, say, for instance, use a placebo with, taking some painkillers. You don't feel the pain. Then I see my foot feels good. I do that with a headache. If I have a headache, I take Tylenol and I'm like, you know what, I'll take the Tylenol and I'll get rid of my headache. Okay. So that's a placebo effect, right? So, you can go no contact if you want, but then you're not getting feedback from your environment. And feedback from your 3D is so incredibly important, because I can't tell you how many times I've had people say, look, at Amanda, I don't know why my SP isn't showing up. And I'm like, well, great. What's going on? Are you guys talking? What? No, I blocked him on everything. I just don't want to be triggered. Okay, but then you also don't know what's going on. You've blocked him on everything. Why? If you're living from the end and have the assumption that this person wants to be with you, would you be blocking them? Absolutely not, right? And it's like, well, I don't want to be triggered. Well, instead of hiding yourself from the trigger, break down why you're getting triggered, okay? You're getting triggered because you've given something that they're doing, their actions, a negative meaning that hurts you. Because remember, their actions are empty and meaningless, okay? So, for instance, they say they don't want a relationship right now. They like the friends with benefits with you. If I gave it the meaning that, they're just using me, yeah, okay, I'm blocking them on everything. I deserve better than that. I'm mad now. Okay, but if I take that and I say, no, you know what? We're dating right now, which could be called friends with benefits as well. But we're doing that because this is leading into a relationship and they want to be with me. Okay. Now, all of a sudden, I'm not going to block them. That actually makes me feel pretty good. I mean, I don't know about you, but whenever I'm dating somebody, it's a friends with benefits situation because there's no formal commitment yet, and it's like, because that's just how it naturally flows, at least for me. Right. So, take a look at the meaning you're giving the situations in your life. It's like when you're manifesting contact from somebody, okay, then they don't text you back. And then all of a sudden they're ghosting me. Okay, but when did you decide that? Like, as soon as you decide that they're ghosting you, they're like, I'm going to ghost them. Because everyone's you pushed out. So when you give up, right? So, for instance, if you text somebody and you're waiting for them to text you back, every time you notice it hasn't happened, reaffirm it. And when you do that, you're going to automatically get your text back. You know what I mean? You're going to manifest it back. The minute you give up and say, oh, that's it, they don't want to talk to me, they're ghosting me, now they're ghosting you, right? Like, you choose how you view your reality, and the meaning you give things is what's going to end up showing up for you. Okay. So I know this was a long video, longer than what I usually do. I intend it helps you. Manifesting an SP is such a broad subject. We talked a little bit about manifesting your ex, manifesting, somebody that, that is new or that you know about anyway. But anyway, guys, yeah, I intend that helps, and I intend each and every one of you guys has a great day and manifest something wonderful. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.